Here comes Daisy. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this show on the road. Let me make sure the live stream kicks in. And we are good to go. Great to see you, Janet, and to have a little bit of time with you one-on-one before we went live. So we are glad to see you all. We are live. Welcome, everyone, to our Success Mastermind for Friday, the 27th of Augusto. John Lavenia here with you and wearing a hat I haven't worn in like 20 years. So Janet was just asking me, what's the story with that hat? Very weird for you to see this Italian guy from New Jersey with a hat, huh? Like this. So I was feeling more desert than tropical today. So I just threw on a button-down shirt and I dusted off this hat. I bought this hat. Janet was asking about it. I bought this hat 20 something years ago when I first moved to Arizona from New Jersey. I was in a place called Arizona Center, which is in Phoenix, which is like an outdoor shopping mall kind of place right downtown, middle of the city. And there was some guy selling hats. And there was this Native American dude playing flutes and stuff. And I was like, man, I'm in the desert. Yeah, so this is like a novelty, like a big thing. Like I just landed on another planet. Here's some Italian guy from New Jersey, and I'm like, man, I got to have one of those hats. In fact, there's a picture floating around with me riding a horse wearing this hat. And actually, it was more like the horse was riding me. I'm very gentle with animals, right? Like, who am I to boss this horse around, right? I mean, this thing is like 5 times the size of me. It could crush me if it wanted to. And so I didn't know, right? I was ignorant of the way of horses. Well, apparently, if you don't control the horse does whatever it wants, right? So it was thinking, oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat some of these leaves over here. It was walking under branches, right? And like we got mesquite trees and they're all like gnarly and stuff. And so the horse is practically knocking me off of it with the branches. I kept the hat though, and I wear it once every 15 years or something. So actually it doesn't work so good with condenser mics on studio booms, right? So I'm probably gonna have to take this off. But who else? We've got a bunch of people here. It's Fun Friday. I know Janet looking very tropical with your tropical shirt. Good to see you. Got your hair down. Everything's beautiful. Anybody got a joke or a dog or a cat in their midst? Since it is Fun Friday, let's keep it light at the outset. Usually we can count on Gail for some comic relief. Hi, Gail.
Hi, I have something to read.
Oh, good.
Where'd it go?
Uh-oh. Well, we've all got something to read because on Monday nights, we're covering Working with the Law by Raymond Hollywell. So everybody dig in. Next 3 chapters.
Okay.
Go ahead, Gail. You've got the floor.
It's called The Note. My dear wife, you will surely understand that I have certain needs that you, being 54 years old, can no longer satisfy. I am very happy with you, and I value you as a good wife. Therefore, after reading this letter, I hope that you will not be upset that I will be spending the evening at the Comfort Inn Hotel with Chantel, my 18-year-old secretary. Please don't be upset. I shall be home before midnight. When the man came home late that night, he found the following letter on the dining room table. My dear husband, I received your letter and thank you for your honesty about my being 54 years old. I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that you are also 54 years old. As you know, I am a mathematics teacher. I would like to inform you that while you read this, I will be at the Hotel Fiesta with Michael, one of my students who is also the assistant rugby coach. He is young, virile, and like your secretary, a successful 18 years old. As a successful businessman with a mathematical brain, you will understand that we are in the same situation, but with one small difference. 18 goes into 50 a lot more times than 54 goes into 18. Oh, therefore, I will not be home until sometime tomorrow.
Oh my goodness.
I saw it on Facebook and I thought, oh, I have to save that.
Oh my goodness. All right. And if you need that joke explained to you, then you probably don't need the joke explained to you. Oh, good times. Anybody else? Thank you, Gail. You're so funny.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like family friendly without being family friendly. Okay, good stuff. All right. So I've got an idea. Can you believe it? I've got an idea. It has to do with how quickly we can shift our attention. And I think it's something that we can all consider for ourselves as we consider what we're going to be doing here as we grow our business and whatever efforts we're engaged in. I had the pleasure of talking with Janet just before we went live, and Janet's had a few things, a few random things. I don't know if I'm going to call them setbacks. Janet could call it whatever she wants, but things that have caused at this point openings, opportunities to create more order. So we've got some things that are out of order that we can create more order on. There's an idea which we've talked about before, which has to do with keeping the main thing the main thing. And I'm going to give you an example of keeping the main thing, and the speed with which we can shift attention. So I may have told you this story some time ago, but it was one that impressed me with definiteness and decisiveness. Okay, so when I was newer in sales, I had this job, and it was a sales job, and it was in this big automotive, like auto mall, multiple car dealerships, like this big operation. And it was in New Jersey. And so there would be like a welcome area where customers would come in. Oh, what sort of car? Oh, you like Toyota, Ford, whatever, Dodge, right? And so customers would come in and be routed by the greeting staff into the right direction. Okay. There was this guy who was the general manager. His name was TJ, and a lot of experience, kind of a tall guy, very well spoken and aggressive but proper. And so he was like a mentor in some ways, right? And I was just some guy on the on the sales floor. But he would come around and he would be talking to different people, how's it going with this and that, and personable guy. I remember being in a conversation, just casual conversation with this general manager guy, and he was in the middle of a sentence. Customer came in, they were coming my way. In the middle of his sentence, he stopped talking, turned around, and walked away as soon as the customer started coming in my direction. What was that about? That impressed me. That was about, like, this conversation we're having right now. Yeah, let's be social. That's all great. But that's why we're here. Instantly, all attention on the customer. And I thought, oh my goodness. Yeah, that guy's got his priorities straight. So that impressed me. And so later, when I became sales manager and all this, I would attempt to, and my personality was different than this guy, okay, but I would attempt to have the people who were my subordinates, right, to have them have that same level of intention with their customer, because the task that I had, I wound up running this whole online operation where customers would contact via the website, and then we're getting them on the phone, and then they want more information, and we're bringing them into the store, and ultimately selling product. But a lot of times people, when they couldn't see the customer right in front of them, when it wasn't as real as reach out and touch somebody right now, they're walking in your direction right now, they wouldn't have that same level of intent or attention and focus on the priority, which is have that customer come in and do business, make that customer happy with whatever product or service they're buying. So here's the consideration for everyone. Without being prompted with a physical body walking in your direction, therefore all socialization stops, and it's time to serve the customer right now. Not 10 seconds, not 2 seconds, right now. All right. So without that prompt, can you still put your attention instantly and totally on that which you have assigned as the priority for you? Great question. Okay. And Janet, you reminded me of this a little bit, because we're talking about out points or things that are not prepared, or things like that. are we prepared? Are we prepared to, in an instant, put our attention where it needs to go? Now, we could take this to neurotic extremes, right? Like I've got emails that have come in. That doesn't mean I'm instantaneously, and some of these people are clients, and some of them, want to give me money for stuff. Okay. So that doesn't mean that, at 3 o'clock in the morning or whatever, because somebody's in, Holland or something, that I'm going to stop and get out of bed and handle that. Right. So there's obviously different protocols, and there's a hierarchy of priority, right? So it's not as simple as the customer right now in present time, physically and bodily, is walking in your direction, right? It's not that cut and dry. Okay. But can we set up, or have we set up, a hierarchy for ourselves and a prioritization list? Janet, how take it to exotic extremes? No, neurotic, not exotic. But have we set up priorities where we know when this light bulb turns on, these other ones get on the back burner? Something Steve Covey talked about in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People is that while we are proactive, which is the first habit of highly effective people, is that you're proactive, right? In other words, you're causative. You're not reactive. You're not just the effect. You're deciding, like, why am I even showing up here, right? So all of that, right? That's valid. But he also talked about, while we keep, first things first and keep the main thing, there's also, this whole thing. Let's say, for example, as a parent, right? I'm a parent, right? So here is something that spontaneously or without pre-planning, I have to put my attention on now. Okay. So that is, and, fortunately for me, and maybe it's not a luck thing, maybe it's just, good parenting as well. I'll take some credit for that. So will Shannon, but, we don't have a whole lot of drama in our house, right? So our daughter is rather mature for her age and responsible and all that. So I don't have to put out fires all day. And one of the things Covey talked about is that, if you don't plan, if you're not proactive, and if you're not keeping the main thing and deciding what's important and prioritizing, then you'll always be impinged upon by all these other, so-called urgencies, which may not get you where you want to go because you're not proactive, right? But we still have to have some, spontaneity in there as well. So where's the balance with that, right? I think we got to know what our priorities are. My daughter's a priority. Okay. Which is not the purpose of, the business activities, to different purposes. But if we can again have that hierarchy and just know what we're going to do over here, let's say in the business world, then we've got actually attention that is freed up that we can put spontaneously as needed on other things that are also important, but not on this purpose, on a different purpose. Where I get stuck and have gotten stuck, let me say I have in the past, I'm not affirming I'm doing that right now, but where I have gotten stuck is where I haven't had clear priorities or plans written down or on the calendar. And so now what? I have to maintain in my own headspace, I've got to maintain all this, well, this, if this, then that, and, all these equations and mental baggage, because I can't objectively look at it and say, these are the priorities. And so I'm less able to be quick on the draw when it is time to put attention on other things, because my attention is already being dragged down with incomplete plans or no plans or, randomity, right? That doesn't serve me. So when I create order over here, I can be quick on the draw over here and have the attention that I could invest over here. I can't do that if I'm like introverting on it or neurotic or exotic or anything else, right? It's got to be order, right? So I know that, that sounds maybe too simple. And if you could picture in your mind, right, like that example I gave you of TJ, picture this tall, thin guy, way taller than me, by the way, having a conversation, middle of a sentence, turning around and walking away because a customer's coming in my direction. So he's got enough things in order in his space, customers, salespeople, right? All those things are in order that he can immediately shift his attention on other stuff. I find that admirable, but you can't do that if your attention's fixated on what's not right, or I don't know what to do, or unsure, right? There was no question about what to do. Am I making a point? I hope so. Okay. So when we know what to do, we can do it and other things and do it as spontaneously or seemingly spontaneously, just because we are not indecisive. Indecision. There's the enemy. What do you guys think about this? I'd love to kick this around. So what order can we put in place that would allow you that flexibility or ability to be like a ninja, quick on your feet, right? Here I am using ninja metaphors. Where did that come from? I started doing Krav Maga again, so I'm getting more physical as of late. So I'm not going to be a ninja, okay? So I'm not doing new ninjutsu. By the way, if you want to laugh, since it's Fun Friday, maybe I'll pull this up on the screen while you guys are thinking about your input on this. Go ahead. Let's any thoughts on this while I get you a joke? I'm going to get you another joke. It's going to be fun. Please come on out. No need to raise your hands too, because I can't see the hands. I'm pulling up something from the past, from the Onion. You guys know the Onion newspaper? It's a joke newspaper. It's satire. It's BS. It's very popular. Edward, you know the Onion, don't you? Edward Mosley, yeah. Any thoughts on this while I pull up the Onion?
Absolutely. What you said about quickly changing to take action, to be in flow, I guess, is a huge thing to perfect because, as you know, in sales or marketing or whatever, you can be, just totally in inertia and you want to do it, but you find something else to do, or you twiddle your thumbs, or you get distracted or whatever. And that's one of the things that I'm having to struggle with is I know what I got to get done. Whether I get it done is up to me. Changing my focus is exactly what I've got to do. But having a trigger or, like you said, having a trigger or a, what do you say, a prompt to do it, it's what I got to develop. I've got to develop that because, knowing I have to do it and knowing I need to do it doesn't get it done, okay? I've got a certain amount of volume or a certain amount of activity I need to get done. But, it happens sometime with happenstance, and then it happens, with intention sometime, and then sometimes it doesn't happen. So being consistent is what I need to get done. So thank you for bringing this up because it's definitely, as usual, on point for me.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I mean, look, I want everybody to win, right? And you want to win. And so what can we do to create order in that and have a bit more predictability? And that predictability allows us to do what? To also have spontaneity, which for me is a weird dichotomy. I tend to be rigid. Anyway, back to, thank you, Edward, back to Fun Friday here. Hold on a second. I'm going to share my screen. This is a classic. So this was, I don't know, 15 years ago. So this website and, newspaper, I don't know if they actually print it, but it's the Onion, right? News, right? It's satire. Ninja parade slips through town unnoticed once again. 2007. All right. Modesto, California residents turned out for the city's annual ninja parade where no ninjas were seen for the 30th year in a row. That's amazing. And we're going to watch the little video.
Most recipes call for tequila, but
apparently
feel free
we're
to
going
use
to-
any liquid you have lying around.
Apparently we're going to watch the
This is
advertisement
a bottle of warm
first.
cola that I found in my mom's garage.
Never settle for less than authentic. Cazadores Ken Margaritas are made with 100% Blue Weber agave tequila.
In Modesto, California today, crowds turned out for the annual Modesto County Ninja Parade, which once again passed through town entirely undetected.
This is our 4th straight year coming, and we've still never seen a ninja.
According to an arrow scroll delivered straight into the heart of the city clerk, this marked the 30th year that the Modesto area ninjas have stealthily celebrated their heritage.
It's amazing how the ninjas can sneak by undetected on us. The kids love trying to be able to spot them and not being able to.
A record crowd of 3,000 people came out to not see the ninjas.
We were right where the ninjas probably were.
Best part was probably when I found the candy in my pocket. The ninjas must have came up behind me like really fast and put all this candy.
Despite its long tradition, only once in 1984 was any evidence of the parade's presence captured on film. And after the event, attendees were informed that the theme of this year's parade had been Shirotori Kuroi Kage.
I love that. Wow, those ninjas are talented. And then they had like the picture of the crow. It was like a crow or something flying. Oh, that was a ninja. What do you think, Gail?
I'm just asking, is that for real? 30 years in a row, everybody shows up to see the ninjas? It's crazy.
No, it's nonsense. It was probably some town parade, and they set up, let's interview people. Hey, we're doing like a ninja parade thing for the Onion, and the kids got the candy. Oh, just say that it was like the ninjas put the candy in your pocket. So it's just nonsense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Modesto is not a big place. There's not a lot going on in Modesto, so I can believe it.
Was that even Modesto? I don't know. I've never been to Modesto, but if you recognize the buildings, yeah.
No, I don't hang out there.
Okay. Yeah, it could have been
is.
anywhere. Yeah, they just pick a town, pick a topic, and do it, So fun stuff. All right. Anybody else got any thoughts on this? Putting your attention like a ninja on life?
I know when I worked in hotels in New Zealand, and I was a restaurant manager, and when customers came in, guests, it was very important to know them by their name and greet them. And also when I worked on the cruise ships, we knew the names of our passengers. And if you knew their names, you took the time to memorize who's going to be at what table or who's going to be at what cabin. It was much better for me. They, number one, felt important because, they know my name. And two, I made a heck of a lot of money in tips. And so it was always very important to do that. And I was good at that. Not anymore. It's hard to remember people's names anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but in both businesses, the customer was very important. And if you concentrated on them, it was to your benefit. So.
Right. And so that actually you gained more money for that because you put your attention on that customer, right? You were compensated by the customer. People like to be heard. In fact, at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight, we're going to wrap up our week with our Be Heard session. Why did we create that appearance on our calendar? Because I want to hear from people. You got ideas, questions, suggestions. I want to listen. The other thing, Gail, thank you for that. There was a business that I was this top producer in this company. In fact, it's where I met Edward Mosley. Edward, we're going back to the LLI days. Okay. So we would have these banquet type events, and people would come from all over the world, and there could be like 500 people in the ballroom. And now we're having the black tie, gala or however you pronounce that. And so after 3 or 4 or 5 days, together and lectures and time on the beach and whatever, this was like the big farewell gala. I would make it a point because I was like this, high exalted grand poobah in this organization. I would make it a point to eat really fast. Plus I had kind of access to the back rooms. I can go ahead and eat, before everybody else, because my mission, while everyone else was sitting there in their tuxedos and their evening gowns, was to visit every table and say hi to every single person. And, we had name tags and stuff, right? So, and I would always address people. Karen, so good to see you. How'd you enjoy the event? Oh my goodness, it's John Lavenia. Oh, right. And so why did I do that? Deliberately, because the last thing I would want is for somebody to get through And they paid thousands and thousands of dollars to be in these events, right? Common, very common. And so I wouldn't want them to have that experience and not have, not leave with at least having shaken my hand or, something, right? Yeah, I'm the guy on the stage and I'm lecturing and whatever. Okay, but I'm here with you. I'm one of you guys. That had such a huge impact to this day. I don't know, Edward, if you recall me doing that stuff or if you knew that was deliberate.
Huge effect. Still having the same effect today.
Ah, right.
No, notice I seeked you out. I've been seeking you, finding you, and finally I found you.
Wow. So
been listening to cassettes and all that sort of thing, trying to get that black belt marketing call feeling back.
Right.
I got them sitting right down here. They're right here, accessible.
So, my husband and I, we had a restaurant at one time in Switzerland. That's where my husband was from. And in all of Europe, when you go into a restaurant, it's customary for the restaurant owner to do what you did, John, to go from table to table and ask people, how are they? Are they enjoying themselves? Is everything okay? And we did that in the beginning when we first started in the restaurant. And then we got so tired owning a restaurant and always the problems and things that come with it. We didn't do it as much. There was a backlash to us because people would say, they can't even take the time to come to the table. And we were told about that. So we made an extra effort to go around to each table every night. It's very important.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. This is great. And this is like a cultural thing, but it's also something with or without that being the norm in the culture that you can do. Here in the States, obviously, you sit down at the table, you get the waiter or waitress, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But there was this place in Tucson, Arizona, Giacomo's, up in the Catalina foothills. Anyone who knows Tucson, right? And Giacomo is from Italy, and he has his restaurant, right? And he would always come out of the kitchen, like every hour or so, he would come out, and it's a small, little hole in the wall kind of a place, maybe 7-8 tables in the whole restaurant. But, this guy would talk our ears off. Sometimes we're like, all right, man, but he'd be talking about the recipe and being a bit critical of some of these other restaurants that use lesser, ingredients. And he was very into it. So, yeah, you got to talk to Giacomo, whether you wanted to or not. So, and he can cook, which is great. All right. Anybody else? Any other thoughts today as we wrap up our Fun Friday festivities? All right, my friends. Well, I'm going to be back here at 6 p.m. after total madness. I've got, oh my goodness, what a calendar I have, which is beautiful. It's exactly the way I like it. So I'll see you all here, whoever want to tune in at 6 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. And then one other thing, just a quick announcement for those who are vague on what we're doing in Vegas. Don't be vague on Vegas, right? So we do have a little regional get together. I'm going to be in Vegas 9th and 10th of October. And then I'm going to be in Pahrump, which is just over the mountains there at the Firearms Institute. So anybody who wants in on that, I know Daisy and Virginia and Linda and a few others are getting in on that deal. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're also going to see a show, have dinner, Vegas, right? Do the thing. Okay. So if you need information on that, go to our members Facebook group, where Virginia has put copious amounts of data, as has other people as well. So check on that. And if you want to discuss that anymore, I'll be with you guys at 6 p.m. Eastern for Be Heard. We'll wrap up with that today. So good to see you all. Thank you for another awesome week. And if I